their prisoners at a higher rate.
So
That's why.
I got a
So
question.
why
Do
would they
people in
send them to
America
go work in camps?
disproportionately commit more crimes?
I'm sorry, what?
Do people in America disproportionately commit more crimes?
I think we lock people up for way too long
You
for
said black people.
offenses that can be. No, no. I think we lock people up for way too long than for what really they deserve.
So you tell me
You
someone
know,
commits a crime, they know what they're doing is wrong, and we're supposed to like, they know like, hey yo, if I let's talk about weed because that's what people like
well,
to
most
talk
people
about
don't
having
just
like small
commit
amount of drugs
crimes to
on them,
commit
right?
crimes. You know, people commit crimes to survive generally, from what I understand, unless they,
No,
are
people
like a
commit crimes because of
pyromaniac and
greed.
have a problem or something.
People are not committing crime. Like that's that AOC thing where they're committing crimes because they're hungry. I'm like no, they're committing crimes because they want something and they don't have that thing that they particularly want.
So they're hungry for something that society
Like
can't supply them right now.
I see people commit crimes over shoes like Jordans. I heard like people come like someone shot someone over a basketball game. How is that because they're hungry?
So should they get like sentenced to slave labor if they stole some shoes?
If we're gonna put them
So when
in,
you have
I
Because
for
that's
my
how the
particular
current
thing,
system works.
the best idea I ever heard is someone commit a crime, like a very heinous crime, that they're gonna be locked up for life. You find a small island, you put them there, tell them you're outside of society, go survive over there.
That's
Wait, we don't have
actually what
slave
the
labor in
British.
America.
That's actually what the British did originally to the white
we have
people that
cheap
came to
labor.
America, and instead, like, they told them you have to work for these business owners for X amount of time, and complete your sentences there because the prisons are too overcrowded. And then when the white people realized we have a vested interest with the black slaves here, uh, then that's when the myth of white supremacy came about, and we started. This goes back before America, and we're talking during the colonies here. They used to. It was required by many colonies that once they started seeing these problems, they would kill two birds with one stone, and they started making sure that these business owners, once their indentured servants finished their time, they made sure that they gave their workers guns and land and sent them off to go unalive Native Americans, and also perpetuate this myth of white supremacy. So uh, uh,
Wait, what
I
time?
don't know.
Like,
It's
we didn't even have that concept of white supremacy, or even that, like, you could say the earliest form was
that was
manifest
during the
destiny or
colonial
something like
times is
that.
when
So
it
what
was
you mean?
invented. It was invented during the colonial times.
White supremacy it was invented during the colonial time? I
Yes,
I think it was just a struggle over resources because at the time everyone
strictly
was dying
from
like crazy and it
strictly
was
you
hard to
know
from
who
survive in
owns
America.
most of the
pretty
And
green
much
like
is
you had
most
the
of the
pretty
Native
much in
Americans there, they were fighting, they're what scalping people and cutting people's heads off, and they were doing stuff too. Before even the white man, as you say, came
I
to
don't care about
America.
what the natives were doing, bro. Like I
And
don't
why did you mention
like
like them
like
them like if we're
because the natives chopping people's heads off has nothing to do with Britain sending over mass populace of people and brainwashing them into being wage slaves and unaliving the native population there.
If you
so
were to
Like
look
who
at
cares?
if you were to look at England at the same time as the colonies, it was like being ruined by capitalism. Uh, but
Yes, it was.
yeah.
it wasn't at
So
the
like
time
that.
it wasn't like a feudal system in Britain at the time.
No,
Yeah, but
that
the
was the
same.
introduction
Yeah,
to capitalism more than anything else.
So like you
with
telling me at the time like
the
anyone could go work for themselves, go start a business, or like you had to go work for a particular person because he had a plot of land and you had to go farm that land
It's
and that person
yeah,
gave
that's why you see the rise of loan sharks and the exile of the Jewish people.
It was very similar,
One
more than
for it.
anything else, to like how the socialist states were rising up, within the last 150 years, where they tried multiple different experiments. That's when all of the capitalist writers kind of came out of that time frame. Was they were writing about their experiences and maybe new ways to form these capitalist societies, the same way that we see socialism societies, trying to develop and create a better system, right? They fail and they come back, you know. So be a little bit more open minded to socialism, honestly. more than
I have a
anything
question.
else. It's just experimentation.
I have a question. Doesn't the system America have works the best, where you have capitalism
No.
with certain social programs?
How come you cherry pick America?
Huh? So why cherry
So
pick
how come you
America?
cherry pick? Yeah,
Because
how come
America's
we
the
don't
greatest
talk
country in the
about it?
world. Name me, there's no country better than America.
Yeah, because we have the military to back up our capitalism. Most countries don't have that luxury.
Hey, yo, the U.S.
China's
dollar is the
killing
number
it
one
right
expert
now.
to the United States military. Is it wrong? Hey, yo, ain't no one gonna tell
I mean,
us.
we have a
ain't
strong
no one gonna make it
military
wrong.
because of capitalism.
Hey, this guy gets
China's
it.
killing it
Well,
right
yeah,
now.
they
to
go
be
hand in
honest.
hand. You need the
Did someone say
imperialism.
China's killing it right now?
Yeah.
That's why you killed Gaddafi when he had a comparable dollar.
A comparable dollar.
China's slaying it.
Wait, China's really not slaying it. The Chinese government is propping up their economy through slave labor. Like, come on, it costs them like they're paying
And
people
we're
like,
not-
like a couple cents, like
Yeah, we're
dollars a
doing
day
not the
for work.
FBI.
You really think that's not
But
does
you
not
know,
cover
also,
slave labor?
also it
Ask
costs
any
a lot
Chinese
less to
person
live
on
in
this app.
China.
They say, yeah, they say
It
they have
costs
better
less.
working conditions.
Well, because China's becoming more capitalistic. They're having less regulations and freer markets.
Freer markets have
Yes, they
nothing to
are.
do with
No, it's
socialism.
China has like zero regulation. What do you mean? Like,
Yeah, man. They don't regulate their
What?
markets
Yeah,
as
they-
much as America.
if you
What?
you
Are you
really
guys
China's
think
got
talking
way
about?
less
That's
regulations
crazy.
than America.
They
dude, China
they
got
have
an
5-year
EPA
plans.
equivalence? Like China
You
don't
know
got an
how
EPA
high
equivalence
your
like
plans.
America.
China?
They got sweatshops in China. We don't have those in America.
Like you could just
You know,
dump
they
stuff
actually
in
put
the water
money
in
towards
China now.
factory.
Can you
That's
not?
why you hear the rumor of fucking child working and shit.
You can get
But we have
sentenced to harsh
sweatshops
labor
here.
in China as a punishment. We don't have that in America.
Oh yeah, you've heard that from the Uyghur population. That was
Ooh,
a
yeah.
The
CIA.
Uyghur Muslims?
The Uyghur Muslims, yeah, ain't
Yeah,
they
the
like
Uyghur Muslim?
getting
Yeah.
like horrible treatment in China right now?
No, they
Yeah, didn't
unalived
you know-
all of them, bro.
Yeah,
All
so
of
that's
them?
a
I thought
lie.
there was still some around.
Yeah. So hold up, let me talk. So all those claims come from like American government sources and have been debunked by the Chinese government. But if you literally look at it,
Wait, stop. Listen to what you just said. A foreign source said, "Hey, yo, y'all are doing this. That's bad." They're like, "No, we're not." And that, like, China could put out China controls the news and the media. They could just say, "We're not we're not doing that."
UN
What?
report on it.
You said they control American media?
No, China controls their media. The Chinese government have strict control over their media. They have strict control of the information that comes into the country and gets out of the country. Do they not?
I mean, they do. So does America. I mean, what do you think? And they're not even as open about it, really. I mean, you have to look at between the fine lines, like TikTok being banned. That was literally the one app that everybody used that wasn't heavily.
Do you know why TikTok
filtered
was
and
being
stuff like
banned?
TikTok. Yeah, because the Chinese scare, right?
No, it's because they're Chinese
Right.
is using propaganda to influence the people. You really think that they're like China? Like you really think that having a foreign country control over a media app is not something weird to like? Come on,
You know, Call of Duty.
We can't go put a media
The
organization
U.S.
or media thing in
government
China, can we?
funds Call of Duty, bro.
China's got way less regulations than America does. I just looked that up.
No, they don't.
Yes,
Do
they do,
not
man.
have
They have way
on
less
the-
environmental regulations. They have way less worker regulations. Like they have less regulations compared to America.
Wait. The weird thing about it
any
is how could
Chinese
you like
person.
people be pro going green, but they don't want to take the job but they still want to have the jobs in China. That don't make sense. America have regulations like the clean air stuff, like clean air regulations.
They're
Do China have
replanting a
that?
desert, dog. What are you talking about?
Does
You don't have
Literally
that under
replanting
Trump.
a desert.
Does replanting the desert negate the fact that they have like all these coal plants? Does replanting the desert?
Wait, they have
negate-
lower
Yeah,
corporate
that's the
tax,
point of
too.
a carbon footprint. You're trying to alleviate as much as your carbon footprint as you can. So
I'm not
literally
even talking
creating
about
a
carbon
forest.
footprint. I'm talking about.
Well, you
so,
are.
like,
You're talking about
I'm not even
mining
without
coal
the
and
carbon.
shit,
Like
right?
they could put like stuff that are poisonous. Like they could like put like waste into their water and without being regulated.
And what do trees do? They literally filter the air, dog. What are you talking about?
I just said I'm not talking about carbon. I'm talking about like let's say they have a they were dumping
Chemicals,
like
they
excess waste
filter
from the
the air.
company. They trees don't filter like they only filter like carbon oxygen the way they take in carbon and produce oxygen. They don't really filter the air. Like if you put a tree in around a fucking like a smoggy area, that it's not gonna be that much cleaner because there's other gases and stuff inside that stuff, right?
No, but that's a big part of it.
Yeah,
that was
but
the-
if
if that was the
millions
case,
of
we'd have a
people do
worldwide
that,
ban
that's
on
going to
shit.
change something.
Go ahead.
What were you saying?
I said if a million people planted trees, that's going to change things.
To be honest, trees aren't even the most oxygen producing things. Hemp produces more oxygen per acre than trees. Most of our oxygen comes from the algae in the ocean. So shouldn't be worried.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
shouldn't we
you're
be
right.
working about
You're
So
right.
like when American
and guess where
companies are
China dumps a
doing
lot of
oil
stuff,
spills
a
and
lot
shit
of
in the
waste.
ocean, not
Don't
taking
China
any
dump a lot of their waste
accountability.
into the ocean, right back into the ocean? Like, don't China, like, they're like, no one out here planting hemp. They're
I'd
trying to
have
say
to
plant
see
more
that.
trees, but hemp grows faster than trees to adulthood and matures faster. And per acre, they produce more oxygen. And then you could use the stuff from hemp to make like what clothing, like other type of textiles. So I don't see how people going so crazy about daggone trees. To be honest, out of all the stuff,
Well,
Yeah,
also
because
you have
that's
the
depend how
problem
you
of
manage the trees.
desertification.
say that again.
Where I'm from, we manage the trees really good, and they give a lot of oxygen. So that's depend how you manage the forest.
I'm just like trees per acre don't produce as much as oxygen as like let's say hemp. That's what I'm saying. And then the algae in the ocean want to produce
Okay.
produce more oxygen than that.
You need farmland to grow hemp, though. You can't just grow hemp out in a forest. Well, I guess you can, but like if you're gonna grow hemp to like use it in a factory and actually maintain contracts, you're gonna be growing it in a farmland setting
I
or an
understand.
agriculture setting.
And that's why capitalism is the best. Like, get a farm, you sell your hemp to someone that makes that uses the hemp, and they make it into clothing, different type of material, right? I'm just saying, like, my whole thing is like Marxism, socialism.
Yeah,
communism
me and
never
you
work.
make it into material, but some ass clown who's sitting in a chair somewhere doesn't. That's our entire thing.
Okay, what the ass clown, right? Doesn't he have to manage the whole thing?
I'm sorry?
The person you're talking about, the ass clown, right? Doesn't he have to manage the whole thing?
Oh gosh, this again? Yeah,
No.
so how come you don't see any accountability within the higher titles of a business?
They do. You're beholden to your shareholders. You're beholden. If you own your company outright, you don't gotta tell no one shit. Now you're holding to the daggone people that buy your product and use your product. That's who controls your stuff.
Yeah, so like when
you
other
own a
mega
stuff, right?
corporations come in and cut your prices by literally more than half, more than three quarters, what now? Then you're just kind of stuck with the shitty business that you have and no
Yeah,
customers.
supply and demand.
Oh, that's capitalism.
That literally is
Or we
capitalism.
could. Yeah, so that's the problem. So it fucks the working man, and it literally helps the people who already have money.
Because people are just trying to save the few money that we do have. The people are trying to save it.
Yeah, okay.
I got a
Yeah,
question,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
So you're in the idea that the person at the top is just abusing everybody's labor, right?
yeah,
Then why are the
record
people
profits,
trading?
but no
Why are
way.
the people trading their labor for money if they're getting abused? Like there's not just one person you could go work for. There's multiple people you could go work for. Why do they choose
did
that one
slaves?
person?
Why did slaves?
Slaves didn't have a choice.
Oh, they did. They sure as fuck did. They could have died. They could have died. They could have got killed. If I don't go to work, I starve to death. So the point, your point.
one's dying
If I don't go to work, I starve to death. Am I
No
wrong?
one dies from starvation in America, man.
Are you? That's a fucking joke. That
No,
is
seriously, no. How many people died from starvation the past few decades? How many?
I don't know. I could look it up for you, but I know our
Zero.
problem.
We have an obesity problem,
Crazy.
man. We don't have a starvation
I'm
problem.
just saying, people talk about we can't afford life, we can't afford stuff, but luxury goods are still being bought, and food is still being bought into the point of excess.
I can go to my local food bank right now and get free food, or the local Presbyterian church.
The problem with homelessness in
Okay,
America.
so that doesn't. So this is in America, right?
Yeah, we're
Yes,
talking
it's in
about
America.
'Cause we're
Yeah.
not-
Okay.
it's the
So
best
what
country
about
in
the
world.
fucking countries we bomb in order to gain the fucking economy to
What
have
country
this?
what
Right?
country you talk about? Name the countries we bombed that you're talking about specifically.
Oh, fucking plenty of them. We could start off with Gaddafi and how they fucked him on oil and they killed him to keep oil prices
I'm
down.
not gonna lie. I'm not too familiar about the whole Gaddafi and the Egypt situation, so I'm not gonna try to comment about that.
Well,
But,
yeah,
like,
you
let's
should
say-
look
let's
it
talk
up. They
about- what
literally
about
they
the
killed
current
the
one right
entire
now?
oil.
The current one
Yeah,
right
go ahead.
now, Yemen, right? Do you think what Yemen is doing is good?
Well, it's an act of retaliation for Israel bombing
So
Palestine.
so that gives them the right to bomb our military ships and our ships that produce that transport the goods around the world. That gives them the right to do that.
Yeah, I mean that's what they said that they were about to do.
So that gives us the right to bomb them to the Stone Age. If they have the right to retaliate, so do we, right?
Those aren't even military ships.
An idiot? Are you
Those
an
aren't even
idiot? If somebody has the right to retaliate, then you do too. So you swung first, and
wait, they're retaliating against civilians, man. They're not even military ships. They're trading ships. They're not even U.S. ships.
Yeah, they have
attack some of the military
arms.
ships
They
too.
literally have arms and ammunition for Israel. They have arms and ammunition for Israel. That's why they're attacking them.
Well, Iran is funding them. That's why. In Israel.
Yeah, Iran's fucking fighting Israel. Hello.
Well, they tried to. Israel took out all of their air defense in their Iron Dome.
Why is it okay for Yemen to attack Israel?
And that's because Iran funded Hamas.
Fuck Israel. It's a colonial force. It's a colonial force. What do you want me to say? It's an empire.
The Middle East never had any period of colonialism?
No, but if I was fucking alive during the fucking Arab colonialization of Northern Africa, I would have been saying the same shit. But when fucking families and fucking shit that have been there for hundreds of years are just chilling, and then an Argoon soldier drops a grenade through their window, you can look that up. I have a problem with it.
I'm just saying, it sounds like you're talking about the age group over there, and if they didn't start nothing, there wouldn't be anything. Like before October 6th, before October 6th, was there a word in Palestine?
Before the creation of Israel, the Muslim Brotherhood were fighting the British. Yes, it's before the entire creation of Israel. It goes way before October 6th.
So you're talking about before the
Quit
creation of Israel.
milking a fucking dead cow,
What
dude.
about October 6th specifically? Who was fighting during October 6th?
Yeah, Israelis shot a Palestinian on October 6th, and then October 7th happened. You can't even get the date right.
You're telling me
you can't even get the date right.
No, I know the stuff started on October 7th, but I'm talking about the day before what was going on. That was my whole
right.
So October 6th, were they at war? Yes or no? Before
they were occupied. They were under occupation.
No, Israel was not in Gaza, man. They let them make their own. They let them make their own government system. They democratically democratically elected Hamas, and Hamas turned on them. They turned on their own people. That's terrible. They democratically elected Hamas, and they turned on their own people.
They turned on their own people.
Well, look what they did.
They used them as human shields.
I can show you a video of an Israeli doing that. You want it?
I'm not saying both sides are perfect.
Are you
but
on the side of Hamas?
It's more complicated than that. I believe that there should be
It's not really that much more complicated than that. It's like if Hamas Hamas knew they couldn't beat Israel, but for some reason they attacked Israel.
That was Sinwar. That's exactly what I'm saying. You just dumb shit down to good and evil. You're fucking silly.
No. Not even good and evil. Not even good and evil. Let's not talk about good and evil. If you can't beat the country in a military battle, why would you attack them?
Because Sinwar fucking had his own sect of people and carried out the tax and fucking himself. You don't listen. You don't listen.
But who democratically elected Hamas?
He was paragliding into
Sinwar
Israel.
fucking killed other Hamas members. Are you dumb as fuck or what, dude?
So
are you dumb as fuck?
What about the people that were paragliding into Israel at the time?
Yeah, they were under Sinwar's fucking orders.
Dude, those were age group people, man.
Why were they listening
Those were
to
age
him?
group people.
Yeah,
it was
dude,
their choice.
That's what I'm saying. It's more complicated than what you fucking say. It's good and it's not good and bad. It's fucking Sinwar was a piece of shit. He got shot for it. There's other fucking Hamas fucking Palestinians that are literally in fucking defense of goddamn Palestine. It's literally fucking occupational forces and constant bombardment. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Okay, let me ask you this.
Didn't Palestine deny a two-state solution? Or disagree with that?
Yeah. Didn't fucking Israelis fucking collaborate with the Nazis? All sorts of crazy shit, right?
What?
What? You don't know about the Havara agreement? Oh, that's crazy.
You talking about the Nazis now? Wait, you talking about Israel collaborating with the Nazis? Why the Nazis was
What's
offering them in high
Havara
numbers?
agreement?
what agreement?
What's
Let's
the
look it up.
Havara agreement?
The Havara agreement.
Mhm.
Let's look that up.
And before you say it's just immigration, why'd they come out of fucking? Why'd they come out of England? Why'd they come out of France?
I'm horrible at spelling. Spell this Havara.
Yeah, sorry, it's Hebrew, but yeah, it's that.
No, how you spell it? I'm bad at spelling.
Oh yeah, it's in the comments. My bad. Haavara.
Haavara.
Why don't you tell us what it is?
It's a collaboration between Zionists and Schnazis. They literally.
But the Nazis tried to do a G-side on the Jewish people.
Yeah, but they helped the Zionists achieve their own state.
Okay,
they helped them go over there. And start immigrating.
Wait, no, after World War II.
Quick, I'm gonna read it. The Harvard Agreement signed in 1933 between the Nazis and the German and the Zionist Federation of Germany allowed German Jews to immigrate to Palestine by transferring their assets to Palestine through purchases of German goods, benefiting both the Nazi regime and the Jewish community in Palestine.
Yeah, so the part that they leave out is there's actually English and French, which were conveniently a part of that.
Wasn't it like World War II in like the 1940s or something?
It's like that whole time period.
See,
but yeah.
So you're just trying to say this all started what 80 years ago?
Oh no, not because of that. No, it started when the British started fucking invading Egypt. It's a colonial force. Nobody likes colonists, man.
Wait.
What? Yeah, I mean, they had India, they had Egypt, they had Gaza, they had colonies everywhere.
What time period are you talking about when the British invaded Egypt? What time period is this?
This is like the mid late 1800s.
So this started in the 1800s?
When they leave, 1912?
Yeah.
Yeah, the British Empire.
Zionism started in the 1800s.
So we're going all the way back to the 1800s for something that happened. So for something where a day before, everybody, most people, not everybody, most people was just chilling. And then one day later, it happened. We're saying, nope, this didn't start October 7th. This started in the 1800s, the late 1800s. And that makes sense to you? Like, that sounds wild to me. I might not be a history major or history expert. No, but you keep noting
October 7th, and I'm telling you the context behind it. I'm saying that
in the occupation in the early 2000s, like 2006 or 2006-8, they all Israeli removed all the daggone people out of there.
Out of Gaza, yeah, they left Gaza.
So
yeah, but what about all the Arab land that was there before? Like they
gave the Sinai Peninsula back that they got over the Yom Kippur War. They gave back land too that they got from war.
Yeah. Okay. So give it back all of Israel then.
Well, don't you believe in a two-state solution?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, what can I tell you, man? That's not realistic.
So what should happen to the Jews that are currently there then, if you don't believe in a two-state solution?
Assimilation. Just like the Naturi.
Okay, they assimilate. Who would be in charge? Will they assimilate under the H group or under Israel?
They should have the freedom to move to whichever country they want. If they don't want to live under the H group, then don't live under the H group. Go migrate.
Hey, but they already had that. If you were in Gaza and Palestine, you're allowed in Israel. But if you're in Israel, you weren't allowed in Gaza.
Yeah, I'm saying back for all the land, like for all of it.
So Israel was on board with that, man.
What? Just packing up and moving out the land?
No, they were on board for allowing Palestinians to come into Israel from Gaza.
What about the ones that they kicked out of their houses?
It's Gaza that didn't want Israelis to go into. I mean, sorry, it's Hamas that didn't want Israelis to go to Gaza.
Dude, the Naturi cartel literally met with Hamas leaders. Do you know who that is?
Let me just say this: if Israel were to lay down all their arms tomorrow and they were to get rid of all their weapons, what would happen to Israel tomorrow?
The destruction of the Israeli state.
And if that happened to Palestinians, what would happen to Palestinians?
I mean, they have, and they got bombed.
They wouldn't be. No, they would let them live peacefully in Gaza like they did, and they let them democratically pick their officials.
Yeah, right.
We saw it already in history.
Nah.
They democratically picked their officials.
It's not as simple as that. I mean, that's such a fucking silly generalization of the whole fucking conflict.
I'm just talking about the past few decades.
750 fucking thousand people, but yeah, you guys can come back in and chill. Like, we want to be chill with you. Like, fuck that, dude. Be for real.
I mean, this is a complicated situation, and I don't really know where I stand on this. I'm just saying, that's one question that I think about when I ask myself about this conflict.
But the whole thing, like me personally, about the whole thing, I'm like, I just don't think America should be involved on either side, and somehow we're involved on both sides.
Quit funding Israel and fucking watch the fucking conflict end. I guarantee it. The destruction of the Israeli state. If America stopped
funding Israel, Israel still wouldn't. They're going to take down Hamas. Go to war with the Palestinian state.
Really, it's not so much funding. We do put a lot of money towards funding, but it is our just influence, our world influence that we have. Like, we're literally backing Israel no matter what they do.
Because the Jews have a lot of influence in America, man. That's why.
Oh my goodness! Don't talk about the tail wags the dog now. When people start talking about they control America, they're talking about the tail wags the dog. That's what I said.
I'm not saying they control America. I'm just saying they have a lot of influence in America. That's why.
Specifically Israel. Do you know who Richard Pearl is?
Whom is that?
Okay, so there's a gentleman. You should look him up. Richard Pearl, A Clean Break. But he wrote this book to Netanyahu, and he's literally detailing why Israel should overthrow all these governments and regimes around Israel to, like, become the big dog. Tell me why Richard Pearl comes into American politics and is the biggest pusher for weapons of mass destructions in Iraq.
Because he's like Dick Cheney. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, it just happens to go out, in Israel's favor, and then, like, the American and the Iraqi is stuck to suffer.
I mean, they wanted to get rid of Netanyahu, but this war has prolonged their elections.
Yeah, Netanyahu's a POS, bro. And I don't even condemn all, like, you guys label it as all Jews, but I don't condemn all Israelis, because even within Israel, I know that conscription is mandatory. So I'm sure it's just a bunch of college kids just trying to live, I
have a question for you. Do you think Israel has a right to defend themselves?
No, we just discussed that.
He doesn't believe in a two-state solution.
No. You think if Israel gets attacked by a foreign country, they don't have a right to fight back?
Right.
So if Israel gets attacked, they should just put down their gun and say, "All right, go ahead, off us all."
Hey, I got a question for you.
Of the Jews would be, would it not?
You said that's going to be the assimilation of the Jews?
For 2K years, the Jewish opinion was that Jews aren't supposed to have a homeland. And then if you take out religion from Israel, especially, you're stuck with Nazism. Or, I'm sorry, not Nazism, but nationalism, which is just a replacement of, I meant to say Aryanism. Like, literally, you have one master race in the Reichland, I believe it was called. You have the next place, which is like a bunch of non-Torah observant Jews claiming nationalism and kicking people out. So you have literally the same case.
Isn't that the same thing that happened here? Basically, because do you know what manifest destiny is?
We have a destiny to move further west and expand all the way.
Yeah,
from
like God gave us like the western parts of the land. Doesn't that sound exactly what Israel's trying to pull off right now?
Currently, right now, it sounds like Israel.
They're not. Come on, man. It's the same line of BS, and we had it.
Yeah. No,
manifest destiny. God gave us this land. Come on, man.
It just sounds like Israel got attacked and they're fighting back.
They're not supposed to have that land until the Messiah. They're not supposed to have the land until the Messiah.
So they haven't been doing anything to these people in between that attack?
What
goes on over there?
What have they been doing to these people between that attack?
Okay, so before October 6th, right? In between the last war, they break up their neighborhoods. They just start putting fences up. What used to be like a 2-block walk to school, now they have to walk 2 miles out of their way, go through a checkpoint just to get to school. They're straight messing with these people. They're killing people. They're taking people's houses.
And I got a
So
question
why
for
do
you.
you
I got a question
hold
for
on?
you.
But why do you see their right? Why do you see Israel's right and not Palestinians' right to
No, I
live?
see a two-state solution. That's what we see.
We should have a two-state solution when they have both independent government, not Israel saying, "Oh yeah, at any point in time we could shut off their water and power." That right there don't make any sense to me. I don't think another country should be able to have control over another one country like that. And one thing,
It's genocide.
so one more thing. So Palestine wasn't sending any type of missiles or anything into Dagon Israel at all during this time period.
They were.
But that's okay though, right? We agree that that's
Or-
okay.
Yeah, we already established that they were the defending force and not Israel, right?
So when
Remember?
they send the missiles into Israel, they're defending themselves.
Yeah, but they're hurting actual places, not infrastructure and hospitals.
They're hitting what?
What do you mean they hit a concert, bro? That sounds like the first day this war started. Yeah.
So you're gonna be in a knowing conflict with these people and then have a concert right on the border. Okay, that seems. Oh yeah,
You're gonna
did you
bomb
hear
a
about the
concert?
helicopter? Did you hear about the helicopter? Yeah, the helicopter was shooting into the crowd. The Israeli one. Yeah.
I'm not saying both sides are innocent. I'm just saying you can't say that the H group is
Well, I mean,
strategic with their attacks because they're not.
I don't remember H group saying that there was what was it, 100 or 1,000 beheaded babies. Remember that?
I'm not gonna.
That
Both
came out
sides
of Netanyahu's mouth. Bro.
both sides are putting out propaganda. Do you think both sides are gonna say exactly what's happened accurately? Even in the Ukraine
What
war,
Hamas propaganda?
when Ukraine is like, "Oh, we're beating Russia. Oh, Russia have this many casualties, this many dead, and but our numbers, we got like 1/10 of that." And I'm like, wait a minute, that don't make sense. If you have 1/10 of the losses in Ukraine compared to Russia, how are y'all getting beat so badly?
Yeah, well, one's a country and one's a rebel group. So
I'm just saying they shouldn't. If they couldn't win a war, they shouldn't start a war. I'm just saying, in America we don't start wars we can't win.
yeah, fucking
Am I wrong?
the righteous. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, but I mean, when good actually does prevail, you'll be the first to get your head chopped off. I'm not gonna lie.
Wait, who's the good?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
Wait. If the good prevail,
I'm not gonna
why
lie,
is it
bro.
chopping
You're
off
so
my
smug
head?
with it, dude. You're a piece of shit. You're a real piece of shit. You're
crashing
sitting there
out.
fucking clowning over fucking
He's
dead
crashing
people.
out.
Whoa.
Yeah,
At least we
it's
believe in a
fucking joke.
two-state
It's a joke.
solution. You don't, bro.
It's a
You just
joke.
want
Wait,
the unalive
stop. Why am I
Yeah,
getting
ask
my
them the
head
Terry
lopped off?
Karsa. Ask their prophets if they want a two-state solution. Shit ass. What does Amos
they gave
8:4 through
them a
6 say? What
two-state
does
solution.
Isaiah 2 say? What does Isaiah 2 say?
They gave them a two-state solution.
No, what does Isaiah 2 say? What does their book say?
I'm not religious, bro.
Wait,
Yeah,
first
you
of all-
should be.
Wait,
Why
first of
should
all,
I
You're a
I'm
nationalist. You're
Wait,
a Jewish
stop.
nationalist. You believe in the Jewish master race. You don't
I'm a
have any
Greek
respect for the
Orthodox.
Torah. You don't give a fuck.
Wait, first of all,
Yeah, I
I'm
care about
Christian.
foreign
You don't give a
diplomacy.
fuck.
Yo,
It
I'm
doesn't
Christian.
matter to
Yo,
a silly little boy like you.
I'm Christian. I believe that the Jews that rejected Jesus is no longer the chosen people. Cause let's say like they be they remove it like a tree and stuff like that, and like they graft on new branches
So
for
the
the people.
entire
that's not-
rabbinical fucking thing. He literally criticized the rabbinical authority. So their entire
What is the
religion
rabbinical
is
authority?
criticized by
I
the
don't know
rabbi. Call
Like,
no man
get in a
rabbi, call no
religion
man
war,
father.
bro.
I don't care
Don't
about
call
the
yourself
rabbis.
Christian if you don't read scripture. Don't
What
call
is-
no
you
man
talking about the
Christian or
rabbi?
don't
You
call
talking
no
about the
man
rabbinical
rabbi, call
authority,
no man
like-
father.
What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
so when dude, oh
No,
my
I'm
god.
How
confused.
dude.
old? Wait.
Yeah, bro.
I'm confused about what you're trying to
I
say,
swear
nigga.
to
I'm not trying to be rude, not trying to be disrespectful. I'm a
Okay.
little lost. On
My
what you're
bad.
trying
I'm
to-
getting heated, bro. My
I'm
bad.
just a
My
little
bad.
lost about what you're trying to say. You're talking about like the rabbinical authority, and I'm like, what?
So like, do you know? So like, Israel has like a chief rabbi. So like, each synagogue has a rabbi. It's like a preacher, pretty much. But
Yeah,
they
I'm Christian,
decide
though.
on
What
the
does they
law.
got- I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm Christian. I don't adhere to Greek Jewish tradition, Jewish practice of the how they practice religion. I believe that the Jews that follow Christ and follow Christianity are the still God's people. Like God said, the other one will be taken off like a bad branch, and then they would graft on good branches from the Gentiles.
Yeah, so like the Jews get refined before the Messiah and the establishment of the third temple, and that's when they're actually supposed to have their own country.
I never heard about. What is this in the Bible or in the Jewish
Yeah.
Torah?
Both. That's in. So like the
When is
Torah is the first 5 books, and then the Tanakh is like the Old Testament in general.
What is the third temple stuff in? Where is that in the Bible, the Christian Bible?
So Isaiah 2 mentions it. They label it
the
as
third temple.
Yeah, the beginning of the chapter, and then it condemns as Judah and Jerusalem by name. And then Ezekiel 40 through 48 is the layout of the third temple. And then Amos 8 also talks about, quote unquote, the day of the Lord, the day of the sovereign Lord. So, yeah. Literally, Judah and Jerusalem by name are condemned. So, should give you a hint.
This is what Isaiah son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. In the last day, the mount of the Lord temple will be established as the highest mountain, and it will be exalted above the hills, and all the nations stream to it. Many people will come and say, "Come, let us go to the mountain of the Lord and to the temple of the God of Jacob. He will teach us His ways, so that we may walk in His path. The law will go out and from Zion, the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. He will judge between the nations." And where does it mention the third temple? Or is that right there?
So, yeah.
Or is that right there the third temple?
Yeah, so like the third temple is like when the Messiah, and then it says like the laws will go out from Zion. So like that's kind of like describing that. I don't think it says temple by name. But yeah, definitely if you start at or if you go into like verse 6 through I think it's like 20.
I'm not gonna lie,
like,
we got a little sidetracked. This whole thing was supposed to be about why communism, socialism, Marxism don't work. I don't really want to continue about this because the whole Palestine versus Hamas thing, I just think America should just get out of it. That's my personal opinion about it.
I mean, okay, but as far as communism, you should go read Acts 4:32 versus 4:32.
If a man don't work, if a man doesn't work, he shouldn't eat. What about that?
I work 50 hours a week. I'm a communist. I work.
No, I'm saying that's what it says in the Bible. If a man doesn't work, he shouldn't eat.
Oh yeah, so like, what about the men who can't work? Like the
we should take care of the people that can't work. I'm not saying that, but to me, it seems like all these people that preach about communism and stuff like that, they sound jealous that someone makes more money than them, and that they can't they didn't have the same opportunities growing up. Like a lot of daggone rich people, some of them were born into that, and they got lucky because of the birth lottery. But a lot of people that are communists just say like, "Oh, I hate them because they have all this money and stuff like that, and I want this money too." And I'm like, pull yourself up by your bootstrap. I know people hate to hear that phrase, but a lot of people will grind, start from the bottom, and become really rich. Is that not true?
Like, I even thought about this myself. Like, I really don't have any motivation, or no, I guess not motivation, but ambition to be like rich. Like, my form of wealth would be like a thriving community and like shit like that. I really have no ambition to be wealthy.
By thriving community, do you mean the whole country or your neighborhood?
Realistically, the world. Like, the American empire only exists because of the back of cheap labor from countries that we bombard. So when I'm thinking of capitalism, I'm thinking about the people who are dying, and I'm not thinking about the $1 million that, like, a wise man once said, I forget his name, but he said, "What would be your price to abandon the revolution?" And he said, "My life." So that's where I stand.
Sure, I would never be part of the revolution. I'm part of the counter-revolution. I think this communism stuff just seems like y'all don't want to grind. Y'all don't want to work as hard as the people that was working that hard to get up there. Let's put it like this. LeBron James was born to a single mom, and he's currently a billionaire right now. And you're saying, and most people are going to say, oh, they're just LeBron James when he became a billionaire. But when he was grinding and putting in work, they didn't care. Like, come on now.
Yeah, like he's likable, but how many hours of manual labor or skilled labor did he do to acquire that millions of dollars?
You don't think you think he's just like he don't got to practice, he don't got to do scrimmages, he don't got to do like you don't think his body's just built like that only because of genetics?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like you're using a really bad example. Like, I mean, anybody can do that. Or I
What
guess
about
not
Elon
anybody can
Musk
do
sleeping
that.
on the floor of Tesla to try to get the cars out?
Yeah, what about the people who sleep out in the woods because they can't afford a house but still maintain work?
Bro,
And
a
I've seen
lot
that
of
with my
people.
own
Bro,
eyes.
okay, let's talk about homeless people. A large portion of the homeless population, I'm not saying everybody, a large portion is because, oh, we offered them you could stay in this house, but they say, can I do drugs if I stay in this house? They're like, no, you can't do drugs. They're like, I don't want to live there. A large portion choose to be homeless. Do you agree? Do you disagree with that?
Well, I would say there should be better. That's what I'm saying. There's no opportunities for homeless people to even like get back up on their feet
Bro,
properly. Like there
do you,
is, but like,
if you think that
sorry.
someone wanted to not be homeless, if someone wanted to have a house and stuff like that, but they had to give something up, they would do it. A lot of people are addicted to these drugs. These drugs are like bad for people and they're really addicting. And some people get hooked on them and they don't get off. Am I wrong or right?
Well, I mean, you're right, but like, should that demonize the entire group of homeless people? And even then, like, there should be more
Social programs help them out.
rehabilitation. Yeah, wouldn't that make
We
more
do
sense?
offer that. You know how many NGOs there are in California designed to try to help these people out?
Yeah, but that doesn't cover the entire country. Like I moved to a relatively smaller town, and there's like a pretty thriving homeless population in like this town, just because there's no work.
I got a question.
You know,
Do you ever talk
yeah.
to these people, or do you just assume that they're homeless because the system somehow screwed them over?
No, I do talk. I talk to them. Yeah, I try to help out as much as I can. I really don't get fucking paid
Do
a
they,
crazy amount. But
do they say that they rather do drugs than live in a homeless shelter?
he doesn't do drugs. So what now?
So he said that the individual told me say they don't do drugs.
Yeah, he got laid off and his family died. He just fell into several unfortunate circumstances, lost his house, lost his car. Now he can't get a job because he doesn't have any of his government documents or anything. He can't get, well, I mean, he can. He goes up to the gym and stuff to take a shower, but
Bro, I'm
and
not
plus
gonna lie.
watching all of this shit.
There's illegal immigrants without documents, and they're able to get a job.
No, they're not.
How do you think illegal
And not
immigrants
legally.
work?
Not legally.
Yeah.
That's capitalism, though. So,
So-
you're
so you
literally
tell me-
cutting out.
so
No,
you
no,
tell
no.
me he
Listen,
can't- go
listen.
ahead.
You're cutting out the working man that pays taxes and gets paid a decent amount for cheaper labor. That's literally capitalism.
So wait,
That's literally capitalism.
You talking about capitalism? Literally what? To me, capitalism is, hey yo, you got something, I don't want to buy it, but my prices are here. Oh, I'm not gonna buy it at that price. Oh, you drop the price, then I'll buy it. Like y'all put it,
Yeah,
y'all
but
want
like,
y'all want to put all the world's negative stuff onto capitalism. You want to say, oh, it's because of greedy businessmen. Oh, that's because of capitalism. Oh, they have more than me. That's because of capitalism. I like if they have more than you. Are they more? Do they produce something of more value than you? Do they have the ability to produce more resources, more stuff that makes them say, hey yo, he's good, and I want to like buy the stuff that he produces. I want to use his service or his skill rather than somebody else's.
yeah, the factory should be ran by the people. It shouldn't be ran by a corporation. So the quality would be a direct reflection off of our work.
So you tell me what? So if I'm as an individual want to buy a property so I could build a building, shouldn't be allowed to buy that property so I could build something on it.
It should go to the community.
So
Why should you have complete control over that
because like
that land?
usually I'm putting the risk in it. I'm putting the time, sweat in it. I'm doing that. Say, oh yo, okay, that plot of land. I one day feel like it could be something good, so I'm gonna buy that plot of land. So you're saying I should be able to buy that plot of land, or shouldn't be able to buy that plot of land?
You shouldn't if you're gonna.
Yeah, dude. Sorry, I gotta cut you off. Hold on, shut up for a second. Yeah, I think we gotta go back to feudalism.
Yeah,
I'm saying
Serfdom?
king. I'm saying king.
Hey,
I'm
hey.
saying queens, dude. Make me a fucking serf, dude. Make me a little peasant.
All right.
All right, wait.
Just
Are
to,
you fucking
just
with
to
me
point
right
out,
now?
No,
of course he is. Maybe he's not.
No,
Are you
I'm
a
not.
MAGA voter? Because
No, I can't vote. I'm not a citizen.
Okay.
Wait, so you wanna be a serf where someone could just tell you, hey, 3 o'clock in the morning, get your fucking ass up, time to go to work.
Dog,
If I
that's what we're
got, I
living
mean, if I
under
gotta
right
go,
now.
I gotta go.
Hey,
That's what we're
all
living
the
under
stuff
right now.
all the things you did
Right.
today, I'm not gonna give you none of. I'm not gonna give you no resources. You're pretty much just like it's the closest thing to slavery, is it not?
I mean, look, man, call what you gotta call it.
But that is, I feel like you're just fucking with
Sign
me at
'em
this
up.
point.
Sign them up.
Sign
Because
me up.
okay, instead of doing the serve, why don't you say I want to work for that company? I'm gonna trade my time and labor to go work for that individual.
Well, because I work
I'd
for a
rather
company
work-
right. No, I got this, dude. I got the most poignant point. I work for a company right now, and I feel like a loser.
What
Yeah.
do you? I got a question. What do you do?
I'm an exterminator.
So you choose to be an
Okay.
exterminator. Why don't you do something else?
No, I didn't choose this. The
Yeah, it's
life
not a
chose
choice.
me, baby.
Yeah. It's not a choice.
I didn't choose the thug. Sorry, I had to make the joke. So you didn't chose.
No,
to be
make the joke. Please
No,
make the joke.
I just did the joke. I didn't choose the thug life. The thug life chose me. That's the joke. That's all it is.
Nice. You nailed it, dude.
So why don't you do something else?
I don't know how.
You don't know how. So you
No.
tell me you can't go to the local mine closest to you and say I want to trade my time and labor for money.
A mine?
A mine, yes, MINE.
Like Steve from Minecraft? I could be that.
No, like
That's
making
something
like
like
turning
that.
big
Bro.
rocks into little rocks.
That's a wild take.
So
I
are you
used to
gonna
be.
pay for
I used
the?
to work
Hey,
out of mine. I
hey,
used to
are
work
you
out
gonna
of
pay
mine.
for
Yo,
the
where?
schooling that it
Dude,
requires
I want to
to get
work in.
into
I
the
want to
mining
work in a
business?
fucking mine.
Look
Are you
up
gonna pay for the
Cemex.
schooling that
Look up
requires?
Cemex, Vulcan Material, Drake.
Demon?
Cemex, 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 Vulcan Material, Drake. These are all mining and cement companies.
That's a
Are
hell
you
of a
gonna pay
take.
for?
If you want a career change, the mines are open.
So
Hey,
what
yo,
I'm
the
hearing
mine-
is you used to
you
work
can
at.
hate on the
So
mine,
you
you
used to work. Hey,
What's up?
give me a chance to talk, dude. So what I'm hearing, what I'm hearing is you used to work at the sperm bank.
That's a wild take too.
Yeah, host.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm just having a little fun.
Host, what do you do for work?
I'm gonna get the hell out of here.
Let's
Okay.
say, bro, I've been here for a few minutes. These are some wild takes so far.
Mr. Capitalist.
Me,
What do you do for work?
Who, me
Yes,
right
sir.
now, currently right now? I'm
Yes,
an
sir.
industrial electrician.
Oh, there you go. I thought you were gonna say something like kind of bullshitish,
You're an electrician?
like a manager. Yeah, for real. I thought you were about to say like a manager.
I used to be a block
Um,
plant
So-
supervisor. Does that where we turn
There you
turn
go.
rocks into building material for houses? And I also used to work
yeah.
at a mine.
So like,
So-
what if you were just to take like that company and you were to cut out the middleman being like, you know, the stockholder and the CEO that gets paid like quadruple your pay in your salary.
I got a question.
What if you were to just cut him
What
out?
do y'all how much do y'all know about businesses?
A lot.
Okay, so
Okay, bro.
so to get them to do, like, let's say you say we should own the company and stuff like that, right? And there shouldn't be no one
Yeah.
above us trying to regulate that.
No,
Wait,
no. We
yeah,
would
the
regulate
government
that.
the government still has to exist as a neutral arbiter to like regulate between us.
I'm
There
not
still
talking
has
about
to
government
be
regulation. I'm talking about like someone saying, okay, this is what this is the goals of the company. This is what we're gonna try to do. And he's like this, and he's held accountable by his shareholders, like a CEO or something.
Okay, well, hold
Right,
on.
so you're basing it off a profit incentive instead of the common being of your workers.
Like, I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like, if let's
No,
say
that's
this.
exactly what that is.
Okay, I got a question. Okay, let's use your idea. Okay, and what's the end goal of your idea? What is the end goal? At the end, this is what it would be like.
Okay, the end goal. All right, you ready for it? Here's the crazy thing. It's very similar to what we live under now, except for poor people by default get like food in a house. And so you can still go out there and make some money and be industrious and have some ideas, but like there's a maximum. And after that, you don't get any more money. And so like that's that, at least I don't know what other people fantasize about, but that's what I do. I want poor
I got a
people
question.
by default.
Do you
What's
think
up?
Do you think most billionaires could pull out $1 billion like liquid right now?
Yes.
So
There's multiple ways.
Most of
there's
the money's in
multiple
like
ways that they
stocks and
could,
stuff like that. You know that, right?
there's multiple ways that they could touch $1 billion right now. They don't even have to touch. They don't have to liquidate their own assets. They can loan against it. They can actually liquidate it.
I'm not talking about like I know like they take a loan and they take a bigger loan to pay off that loan because loans are tax free.
Sir.
I'm not talking about that right
I understand your question too. They can liquidate their assets and touch $1 billion. They can easily sell some of their assets.
No, the only thing
So
if
I want to
they're
ask,
taking
who's
the
with
money out the
socialism?
company, it will lose value.
That's good. That's a good thing. We don't need large corporations to be these omnipotent, crazy things. We need a lot of smaller corporations so that we all can participate in the economy in a real way.
So
So back
when
to
does someone get too big? How does someone get too big?
How does someone get to
that
$1 billion?
would mostly be.
No, that's what I'm saying is if you're talking about a small business owner, guess
How
what?
would it be too big?
When if they start making more?
Most of it would be determined by geography or the type of service, because many businesses by default are already going to be limited by geography in some capacity, and so that automatically would be one limiting factor.
So-
and then not only that, okay.
So when I'm asking you, they're asking a service. So how are you going to disrupt a business like Amazon?
Okay, very simply. Are you ready?
I'm willing to hear it.
Okay, so the easiest way to do it is not through taxes, because we don't need the government to get involved. All we have to do is pass a simple law that says that the equity of businesses has to be different, and we let the equity flow through the workers, and with a much larger equity distribution to the workers and the other people who are contributing to the system that are not the shareholders. So essentially, we're going to liquidate the shareholders. We're going to do a freeze. Immediate freeze. We're going to give them a little bit of compensation, and then we're going to wind them down. And then we can apply that exact same concept to housing. So if you want to solve the housing crisis, right now, all we have to do is freeze all housing prices, pay everyone for one house. So if you own one house, if you're a hardworking person who put all of your money into your house, and that's all you have, guess what? You were immediately made liquid. We fully pay for your house. And then everyone, hold on, sir.
I think there's a flaw in that pause. I'm listening to everything.
I gotta go use the bathroom.
Oh, that's fine.
Don't while I can still have my headphones.
Yeah, we're good. Hurry up, boss.
So the only problem I see it is when you started fluctuating all this money to all these people, do you understand you're going to influctuate the money passed to everyone around? So people are just going to have way too much money, and it is going to increase the prices of. So, you know, look at what happened in Germany, where people were using millions of francs to get a loaf of bread.
That
So
was
you understand what you're going to lose. It sounds like it's going to cause a problem.
No, I can listen, hold on one second. I can debunk all of that. It's no problem. Because there are plenty of examples in history of hyperinflation and things like that. But you have to understand on a fundamental level that America does not operate that way. Because Germany in the 1930s did not export their currency. The currency was only used in Germany. And all of these other countries in the world do not export their currency. Majority of their currencies are only used in their country. For America, everything in the world trades in our currency, and other countries actually use our currency. So realistically speaking, we could print every American $1 million check tomorrow, and the only people that would hurt are people outside of America, because we produce enough that we actually don't have to import. We just export and do those things because of like capitalist business. And so the only people it would hurt if every American got $1 million tomorrow is everyone who uses the dollar that's not American. And that's never been a thing before in history, because there's never been a fully integrated financial system.
But don't you think that's going to hurt other countries wanting to do business
but
with us?
I don't care about other countries. I live in America.
Are you America first?
Yes, I'm America first.
I'm a Christian nationalist. Hey, baby. Sorry for that. I have to calm down.
But the whole thing is like you're trying to push for democratic socialism. Is that what you're
No,
trying
I'm
to
not. I'm not trying to go democratic socialism. I mean, honestly, if we're being 100, it'd probably be full blown communism.
I would not agree with that at all.
Well, that's
So let
fine.
me ask you.
Because,
All right. The only reason the only reason why is, what is your opinion on gun law, pew pew laws?
You gotta have them, absolutely.
Oh, the
Okay.
Marxists and the
Everybody.
communists and the socialists, they actually love guns. It's just like liberals and leftists
Yeah.
and Democrats.
Whoa,
That's what's crazy
Yeah, bro.
about it.
TikTok. I
Yeah,
got
bro.
you,
Literally,
TikTok
I'm not even
first.
gonna lie to you. When you're born, you would be given a house, food, and a pew pew. That would be your communist
Okay,
right in my
wait, stop.
country.
I have a question. I have a question.
But that's the thing. I don't think communism would work that way, because who is going to at that point? There always needs to be one leader, right? Then what's
No,
the whole
no,
point
sir.
of having
No,
having a Congress, having a Senate, having the House of Representatives in business and laws when it comes down to states? So you're now talking about a whole country going under one state, where
No,
everyone
sir.
votes one way, and that's one way.
No,
Wait,
sir.
stop.
No,
Wait,
sir.
stop. Wait, what type of capitalism or socialism do you believe in? Because every time I talk to y'all people, it's always everyone have like their different twist on it.
I mean, I'm full stop communism, like the most idealistic version of it, but there's a lot of steps to get there, so I'm not going to sit here and say
next to impossible to achieve that, man.
sure.
I got
sure.
Let me ask
Absolutely.
a couple questions. Do you believe, like y'all say, the people own the business and then like they vote someone to be their leader, right?
Well, you don't necessarily need like a unitary leader. You can do things by consensus.
Okay, so we vote every time we want to make a business decision, we vote on it.
I mean, it depends, buddy. It's not going to be every little decision.
Okay.
Certain things for certain operational, certain people, because they have the equity in the business. So let me take this for example, because you work in a business, and so you're like, oh, I need to buy paper or whatever. Because you actually own portion of the business, and you're going to do all of your due diligence to be like, okay, how can I get the best deal, so on and so forth. So, all the things that some people do for their company so they can get these bonuses and all of that, that's what people are going to do. They're not going to. Okay.
You say,
okay.
Well, I need to get the best paper to get a deal, right? So you're trying to say stuff will have different prices and different values, or will they be current? There's going to be currency in your
That's still capitalism. That's still capitalism, man. He's not making any sense, because that's still capitalism.
No,
if it was communism, it's under one state.
Sir.
Yeah, it's a proper allocation of resources.
Yes, that's exactly it. Is you're stuck on these labels. Just because we're using money does not mean that we cannot be operating under communism, because the difference is where are the resources going. And what I'm saying is that when we focus on the workers in the community, because ultimately that's what the workers are, it's the community, that the way that we all operate in life would be so substantially different that many of the things that you're considering actually wouldn't even exist, because there would be no reason for them to.
Do you believe humans are greedy? You believe humans are greedy, right?
Not necessarily. Greed is more of a conditioning type thing, similar to racism.
So let's say I work 80 hours a week, right? And I'm a industrial electrician, and there's another one that works 20 hours a week. Should we get the same resources or the same amount of stuff?
No, your pay is going to be determined on what you're doing. Listen to me.
Your whole thing is that there should be no one person at the top that's making the big bucks.
Yes, fundamentally, and I'm also saying that there shouldn't be poor people at the bottom starving in the streets.
Well, there were still poor people in Soviet Union at the time, so.
Yeah, but it's not a famine that happened every decade previous to that.
What if these people don't work and don't contribute nothing to the society? Should they still get fed and clothed? And I'm not saying they don't work because they can't work. I'm saying they don't work because they choose not. So you're saying if you choose not to work, you can still get fed, right?
Absolutely.
Diminished. I want to say, can I agree with you on this? Can I say this?
Jay instead of diminished if you want. Just say Jay.
The one thing about communism is it is a fairy tale world, and it will never work. It never works. It will never work, bro. No one will agree with that. It sounds good on paper, but it never turns out how
it's worked. It's worked literally every time it's been implemented.
Why are people in Cuba still starving?
Because of the United States embargo.
Just the United States, or is it the rest of the European Union?
Yeah, sure, the rest of the world. I mean, that doesn't help your case, right?
Okay.
Because listen, hold on, one second, please.
Go ahead.
I just want to point out, very simply, and this isn't some gotcha, I'm not attacking anybody. I just want to say, have any of you ever actually picked up like a piece of communist literature in some capacity and just like read it? You could pick the shortest one, because all I'm saying, on a very fundamental level, most of the thing that people show up to work, like the things they say, like, oh, I don't want this and I want that, like, much of that is in there. And that's why capitalism has propagandized it so bad, because it is directly against the capitalist system, in which there's someone who has to exploit you so that they can get rich. All I'm saying is that by default,
let me say something.
Poor people deserve food and housing.
Like
yes,
I agree we should have social programs to help out the poor people and help out the people that can't. But if you're someone that chooses not to work, chooses not to do anything, chooses not to participate in society.
Sir, yes.
You can hear me?
Many of those people do. Yes, many of those people do not exist. Like there is less than 1% of people in the world who choose not to.
I got a question. Do you think people that do drugs are do you think people that do drugs, like, and live on the street, do you think that's a choice, or that's because of what's the result of that?
It's a disease.
Well, I mean, I've worked with crackheads before. So.
Yeah, part of it is a disease, and part of it is the capitalist system in which you flood the market with certain things so that you can make a profit.
That's why they have the difference.
It's also a mental health
thing between crack and
no
cocaine.
one's talk about that.
Correct. So and to point out very, very simply, very quickly, every single person that's born today, that lives today, has the gene for alcoholism, and which ultimately is addiction. Because back in the day, we didn't drink water. We all had to drink alcoholic beverages because like water wasn't clean. And so the gene for addiction / alcoholism exists in every single human being, and we all interact with it in different ways.
I don't even think it's a gene, man. It has to do with your frontal lobe, and it affects your brain, my friend. I don't think it's
a gene. I just
think
your body likes dopamine,
correct.
And it keeps liking that. It keeps liking that dopamine spike. Just like in nature, when you'll find that animal, hunt it down, and capture it, you get a dopamine rush. And when you eat, you get a dopamine rush. That's what I think it is. I don't think it's like necessarily a gene. It's just like we learn. Over time, we learn how to trick the dopamine, dopaminergic system inside the body. Like we learn how to manipulate it.
So the biggest problem with communism, like I said, it sounds all good on paper. I'm taking your logic, MCC. You're saying everyone gets a home, everyone gets a pew-pew, everyone gets a mutual fund, but you're discontinuing the fact that greed is not a thing. People always want the biggest TV. People want the biggest cars. What you all understand is greed is a big factor, and to get people into society to believe that everyone should be equal, so everyone should be driving the same car, driving the same
unity would make these things.
I'm not done. Let me lay my plane. I'll let you go.
Yes, sir.
The second thing, you're also talking about what someone's going to stop somebody from coming into somebody else's home and taking more of that. On top of that, you're also saying that denouncing all religion. Do you understand? No one in the real world will ever agree with that in a country that allows freedom of religion. I will never work.
I was about to say that personally, now, everyone's brand of communism and things like that is different. Personally, I would still allow for freedom of religion because, like, we have to have these types of communities that exist, but we would not allow for the way that religion exerts.
Have you
in a
read
way
the
it
Jewish
is,
question by Karl Marx?
No.
Like, he pretty much details like why the need for quote unquote religious suppression, and it's because like they're used as political factions. And like when you have a center authority like the Pope and stuff, you can buy him out realistically.
Yes, and I would agree with that, and that's why I would try to change the premise of religion, because if you really look at the foundation of religion in most texts, it is not some well organized machine that stretches across all this geography. That's a construct of for the progression of man to exert power. So we would try to encourage people to be a lot more communal with their religions versus some sort of nationalized, thing. But regardless of that, I don't know. Look, I'm not sitting here saying I have all the answers, but what I am saying is that at the bare minimum, we can try to work on making everyone's life a little bit better at the expense of people who have mega yachts and private jets.
Okay,
let
me ask a question. Okay, so because every time I talk to people that say there's socialism or communism or any form of Marxism, they always have a different idea. Because I talked to some people that said money shouldn't exist at all, and I'm like, how do you get that? Didn't make no sense to me. What you're saying makes no sense to me, but I have a question. So we wouldn't have. You're trying to say we wouldn't have mega corporations?
No mega corporations, correct.
So
no mega corporations, no billionaires.
So something like Walmart wouldn't exist?
No. There would be no need for it.
I think there's a need for something like Walmart. Like you having one place where you can buy a whole assortment of products is not a good thing.
No, but what you're considering is, yeah, I was about to say that. But not only that, but like what you were envisioning is this like Mecca like place where all of these things exist. I'm still saying that all of those things still would exist, and probably in a very close proximity, similar to the concept of a Walmart, but the construct of a Walmart would not exist. There would not be maybe this one unitary thing that does all of these things. Like it'd probably be more of like a farmer's market type concept where it's like a bunch of people are together with their products, and they're still selling for money. Like that's the thing about it too. And I just want to point out,
like who controls the prices? The free
depends.
Like so, something
the transitionary period would have to be price controlled.
Some more bread lines.
Then,
okay.
I don't think you're a communist. I don't think you're a communist. I think you're a capitalist that just don't like the billionaires and the millionaires at the top. I think you feel like we should get rid of the billionaire and millionaire class because you believe that they hoard all the money and the wealth and don't put anything back into society, right? Or am I wrong?
I would say you haven't been listening for the last hour.
No, because a lot of the ideas you said about...
You've said that 3 times, 4 times even like that.
Bro, dude, it just sounds like a bunch of gobbledygook. You see what's going on in Atlanta? They had a communism meeting, and they couldn't even get for the first 30 minutes because... people a person, they had to talk about pronouns, they had to talk. That's why communism doesn't work. Everyone has their ideal version of communism, but nothing can get on a debate because everyone has an opinion. It's not one that's been appointed by somebody. That's why communism doesn't work.
Mr. Jake, I just want to point out that what you're expressing, that everyone has a difference of opinion, is human nature, and that there's no unitary version of communism because every person's struggles are different, and the way that communism happens in those areas is substantially different. And so communism realistically is it's a smaller scale, smaller geographic type thing to focus on. And like you're saying, probably what I'm prescribing is substantially different because we don't necessarily have to operate from a place, like you said, of, we have to do all these acknowledgments or whatever. My version is we're moving towards something. Like if you're either on board or you're not, but we're fighting for you, and that's okay. If if we're not doing it the right way that you want us to do it, it doesn't necessarily matter. We're moving. And you're either on board or you're not. So
I think the biggest issue that we have right now is that everyone is stuck within these definitions of socialism, communism, capitalism. We can utilize all the different good ideas.
I'm going to get out of here. Pleasure meeting you, brother. Give you a follow.
Thank you.
You have a safe night. God bless. Go America. Capitalism rules. Communism fucking sucks.
Have a good night, bro. Have a good night. All right.
It doesn't have to be one economic system.
I agree.
Like there's good things in different ones, and there's also bad. We can all admit that. But I don't understand.
I'm pretty sure communism is just bad.
See, but listen.
No.
Listen, hold on. You say that. but realistically, and this is not a gotcha. I'm not attacking you in any way, so please understand that. Have you ever consumed a piece of communist literature from anyone, or any in the field of communism? Have you ever consumed a piece of literature, read one book from that? And this is not a gotcha. Please, I want you to understand that.
I haven't read books, but I just watch documentaries and stuff like that. I watch video essays and stuff like that. I don't like.
Okay.
I'm not a good reader. You can already see I make typos all the time in the title and shit.
Well, listen, welding, Das Kapital is very, very, very dense, and that is not an introductory, material. That's probably, once you've been through a lot of other concepts, that's something that you would consume. That is a very dense piece of material. So I could, in some capacity, understand why, some of these sentiments you have them.
Dare I say
okay, explain the theory of labor value.
What do you mean by that?
Everyone
explain the labor theory of value according to communism.
Right, but you have to understand that Marx is what's being proposed in Marx's literature is the ideal version. He is not, well, I'm not remembering everything exactly. I don't remember if he's prescribing the
his
transitionary
book has
period,
very accurate criticisms of capitalism for his day and age, but most of those criticisms have been solved by capitalism.
I would disagree completely.
No, most of them have been solved by capitalism. The problem is the amount of capital that you need to solve those problems.
Right now, we don't even have real capitalism because our politicians are bought and paid for by these big companies.
We
have the Federal Reserve that's inflating our money specifically to tax poor people, making your dollar worth less.
That's capitalism.
That isn't capitalism. That's cronyism.
Yes, that is.
That's not capitalism if you use the government to manipulate the market. And
yes, it is. Sir, if the
capitalism doesn't have a centralized banking system.
Please.
Let them talk.
If the capitalists are buying the politicians to exert influence in the capitalist government, how is that not capitalism? Because there's no communists buying the politicians.
You're not working within a free market.
Sir,
you're not working within a free market. That's the reason why. That answers your question.
But then, technically, by your own words, America has never been capitalist. There's always been private interests that have influenced our politicians. Look at slavery.
Capitalism is private enterprise. Y'all were fundamentally misunderstanding.
But it's not private anymore if the government gets involved, isn't it?
Hold on. It is. Whenever the government is
if the government is picking winners and losers, that's not free market economics.
Hey, let them finish. Let them finish talking. Go ahead.
If the capitalists are picking winners and losers in the capitalist government, that's capitalism. You have the misunderstanding of this free market aspect. Capitalism is not free market. All capitalism is a wealth extraction tool. All capitalism means is that I have money, I go to some place, I take the resources and I move them to another place.
This is how you're defining capitalism or
capitalism. Sir, capitalism that we live under today was created by the Dutch to take resources from Indonesia and move it to the Netherlands. We live under that exact same system today. So that's why Walmart and whatnot destroys communities, because all it is designed to do is to take resources from one place and move it to another. That is capitalism.
So that's the definition of capitalism. Then if you're using that definition of capitalism, you're all the people when they mention capitalism are not using that definition of capitalism. The way that
because
then we're not.
It's propaganda.
Then okay.
It's not this.
You're talking when you say capitalism, that's what you mean. But when we say capitalism, we mean this. Hey yo, you got goods, I got money. I don't like the price of your goods, so I'm not gonna buy it from you. I'm gonna choose to buy it from somebody else. That's what I mean by capitalism.
Sir, but that's not capitalism.
Then what is that?
That's like a barter system. That's not capitalism. See, that's part of it. Is that listen, please, really quickly. What you are saying right now was engineered by the U.S. government in the 50s as an anti-communist agenda. So they weaved in this free market, voluntary exchange BS. But all
let me get my tinfoil hat.
It's not tinfoil. This is public information.
I understand what you're talking about. I understand what you're talking about when you say the U.S. government put propaganda against capitalism because me personally, I don't particularly like it, and I feel like the problem with capitalism is it be
communism. I'm saying the government made
the problem with communism is at the end of the day we're gonna be less productive. You're gonna have like if you say, hey yo, you don't work, but we're still gonna take care of you no matter what. Then you can have a lot of people that's not gonna want to put anything into the system. They're gonna be saying, "Hey, yo, I still get a house. I still get a food." Go ahead,
sir. Production only matters in a system where profit is the motive. If we are not engaging our lives every day to maximize profit, then production is actually irrelevant. It does not matter how much time it takes to do things. It does not matter what we accomplish because, outside of like producing food and stuff, but that's why like money and incentive still has to exist in some capacity.
This is why
and listen, really quickly, one sentence.
Go ahead.
I just want to point out, do you think that the United States government made anti-capitalist propaganda and used it in other countries?
Yeah, because we were fighting the Russians. So, we was the Cold War against the Russians at the time. I agree with you. We put stuff that says why capitalism is
Next
bad.
question. One more question. No, communism. Why communism is bad? So if the United States government made anti-communist propaganda for other countries, do you think that they were scared of communism in America?
I'm agreeing with this. Okay, let me tell you my thing about I'm against communism specifically. Let's say currently right now, let's say 9 out of 10 people are working, right? Let's just give round numbers.
I knew you were gonna fucking bring that up.
No,
dude.
no.
You're such an ass.
No.
What about the people who don't want to work? What about them? What about them?
No, let's talk about them.
That's exactly what you're gonna say, dude. I smelt it on you.
Let him talk. Let him talk.
Right? Let's say currently right now, 9 out of 10 people work, right? And we're able to produce enough food for more than that, the people we have. Okay, let's say you say, all right, you don't gotta work, but we'll still take care of you, and that drops down to about 8 or 7 out of 10. Let's just say they start saying, yo, for the work I put in, the time I put in, I don't get the type of value that I want to receive. Then they're gonna start putting less effort into it. If you say something, hey yo, you could work as hard as you want, but this is your limit. These are because you're gonna put price controls so more people can be able to afford the stuff, right? Or there's no price control.
In some capacity. In the transition period, there will be.
Let me finish this. You putting price
This is
controls.
literally the reason why the
When you start
USSR
putting
failed.
price controls, people are gonna say, if no matter how much I work, no matter how much time I put in this is my cap. I'm not gonna work as hard. I'm not gonna produce as much. So they're gonna start producing less food than the population needs, even to feed the people that's not working. Do you see what I'm?
That premise is not fully correct.
Ideologies.
Right. Yes. Listen, that premise is not fully correct because in your system, the people are like only paid by the work because that's how we make money now. We're only paid by the work. But when you own the means of production, you do not have to work as long to get the same from it. So let's say, for example, someone works 12 hours a day and they produce 1,000. Sir, please, really quickly. 1 second. Sir. Let's say someone works 12 hours a day and they produce 1,000 apples, but 900 of those apples goes to the people who don't work, the shareholders, the billionaires, okay? And so all of these people are stuck with only 10 apples to eat. So, and what I am proposing is that all of the apples, majority of the apples, are going to stay within the community. And so we won't have to work 12 hours a day to produce the same amount
Exactly.
of
Bring
apples.
feudalism back.
No.
Bring feudalism back.
Stop. Let's
That's
put it like
completely
this.
wrong.
You think farmers have shareholders?
Sir, some farms have shareholders, yes.
Most farms are family owned.
That's propaganda, sir. Most farms are corporate farms.
Most farms are
You're describing
most farms are family owned.
You're describing medieval feudalism.
Well, listen, we're saying the same thing, but we're saying two different things.
The people that mentioned
feudalism, sir.
The advancement of technology and farming we could have like 5 people producing the same amount of food as people like 100,000 people back in the day. So like with the advancement of technology,
but if one of the,
so most farming families,
if one dairy farm
with 200 heads of
they're
producing
cows.
Run
out of apples.
Huh?
Okay, listen, bro. If one of your little communities where you're distributing the apples among the communities has more apples than the next community next to it, and the people in the community next to it are starving, and the other independent community doesn't want to share the apples with them, then that starts war. That's how war starts.
Sir, the people in all of the communities are going to have plentiful resources to engage
they
in the
won't.
voluntary
Not every
system.
single one.
Sir.
The
people
majority
in
of the
in
reason why
communities-
countries in Africa are starving is because of lack of trade.
Sir,
It's
the
it's
reason that
because
majority
a lot of the land in Africa is not good for growing crops. It's because they didn't have
Exactly.
they don't have like a
But
good
they have
farming
other
structure. A
resources
lot
to
of-
trade for.
How would you regulate it? How would you regulate it if one community became more stronger and had more apples than all the others? How would you stop them from just taking over the other ones?
Sir, because in the system there would be automatic mechanisms that once you get to certain levels, the wealth would just move. It would be like water. It's
so
the
like
same
magic
way-
from like
Stop.
magic?
We wouldn't have
Like,
people.
No, not like
We
magic.
wouldn't have people regulating this at all. You telling me this would just happen?
Yes,
Man
there's-
hosts, they're
yes, sir.
popular.
We would still have to have a
No, it's
government.
because
We
there's
would
something
still
wrong
have
with the
to have a
daggone live.
government,
I
a
keep getting this
democratic
like.
government.
Wait, quick thing. The reason you keep hearing that music and stuff is because like I don't have the best internet out here because where I live at, so that's why that gets from time to time. See, the connection's unstable or something. That's why. So y'all could just go ahead and ignore that.
I see.
But continue, big dog. Go ahead. MTC, you're saying?
I would love for the guy at the bottom to tell me or explain to me the labor theory of value.
No, yeah, MTC. Okay, my thing is, we don't need a large group of people to farm land. You understand that, right? I know people are talking about like, illegal immigrants are the people that's like picking our crops. Like that's only 4% of agriculture. Illegal immigrants only produce 4% agriculture. Yes, there are daggone corporate farms and stuff like that, but most farms are family owned. A 200 head, like let's say
Yes,
you have 200,
I wanted to
200 head of dairy cattle, right? And that's milk producing. You could like regulate that with about like 10 people because one person in a tractor, grain truck and stuff like that, it doesn't take like hundreds of people no more. So when you're saying that one person can produce enough food to feed, one person can produce enough food to feed like thousands now, right? Because and the reason they want to produce those thousands of food is because they get something in return. Instead of trying to say, oh, you get to help out your community, you get to do something for your community. Most people are selfish. Most people care about, hey, yo, I'm looking after my family, and I'm looking after the people around me.
Correct.
Most people care about like the whole world, and they don't have like a global mindset. They have a mindset like family because that's the most important thing to me.
Correct.
So are you gonna get rid of?
That's
are you
why.
gonna get rid of the family structure too now?
No, all you have to do is let people have equity in what they do.
I know what you need.
And that's
monarchy.
it.
Fucking
That's
monarchy.
it.
The
That's
church.
But they don't because they don't own
The
their
church
labor.
was meant to be the fucking.
Right.
It was meant to be the
The
welfare.
state
state.
owns their labor.
The church was
So
meant
they
to
don't
be
have
the
any
welfare
equity in
center.
what
That's
they're
when
doing.
they separated the church from the state. The state became the welfare center, and the church just became a fucking money laundering scheme.
Why the
I'm
fuck are
not
we
sure
talking
where
about the
you're
church?
going.
We're making this a lot harder than it has to be. Like we can keep the constitutional republic that we have, a capitalist system, but with socialist. With socialist
would have
policies that can help. Yes, but you
Yes,
have term
government
limits.
has to exist.
You'd have term limits so that politicians couldn't be corrupted by these big corporations. You'd have to keep
no
people
big
in check.
corporation.
I don't understand
I got a question.
why.
Do you think we could have government without people being corrupt?
If there's term limits, yeah.
No.
Yes and no. Yes and
That's
no.
absolutely,
Yes and
absolutely
no.
wrong.
Yeah,
That is
y'all never
absolutely
heard
wrong.
In a system,
Absolute power
in a
corrupts
system,
Every government will be corrupt.
listen, please,
Exactly.
listen. In a
That's why we have
system,
checks and
please
balances in our
listen.
government.
In a system where the CEOs have no term limits, Congress cannot have term limits. But in a system where there are no CEOs, there are no large corporations, idealistically, we could have very
Maybe if it
minimal
wasn't
corruption.
the Jews, maybe if it wasn't the Jews running all of them, it wouldn't be a problem.
Hey, yo, don't start saying that.
What
Don't
the
start
hell
saying,
is
hey,
going
yo,
on?
don't start saying that. One of my lives got kicked off because people was talking about
You
that.
might have to drop him and bring him back
Yeah,
up.
I don't want to.
He's
I don't want to
already
hear how
problematic.
245,000 survivors are still alive to this day. I don't want to hear that. So we're just gonna leave that alone. All right, we're gonna ignore that. Right? We can't talk about that. I don't want to get kicked off again. But
my point being is we don't have to trash the entire system that we have now. We just need to tweak it. And a country's wealth is not just how well companies and stuff are doing. It's also how many homeless do we have? What is the population's mental well-being? I mean, again, look at the drug crisis. Look at a whole bunch of
the
other
drug
mental
crisis
health
play
issues
into
that
the
are going
homeless
on.
population. Like, bro, I understand capitalism.
No, I
needs
agree. I agree with you.
I understand capitalism needs some social programs to help out the people at the bottom and some people that can't work and some people that like get too old. I understand that. But when you start doing like, hey yo, you're gonna give me food, you're gonna give me a shelter, but I don't have to work for it. Do you think there's not gonna be a good amount of people that say I'm gonna stop working?
It's literally the reason why the USSR failed.
Like what?
They would have to petition the government to get a painter to paint the fence. You didn't have private enterprise at all. You had to go to the government and ask for a painter, ask for a carpenter, ask for.
Well, you can't
stop with the garbage.
I just said a Zionist. That's true. It's a real thing. Zionists are real.
You might have to drop him, dude,
I don't
and then bring
get
him back up.
I don't want bro. I don't want
your
to
life is in danger now.
No, not that. It's like last time I started talking about that group of people, my live got kicked off and they got a strike against me.
It makes you think. It makes you think, don't it?
I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, I see what you're talking about, but I don't care. I'm just trying to do this live without getting kicked off for like the second time. Okay.
I got you, bro. No more.
So I'm not for like a welfare state, but I do think there should be a program where it's like, only a few months that the government kind of helps the homeless kind of get up on their feet, whether it's rehab, helping them find jobs, like just trying to rehabilitate them back into society to actually be productive. I don't think that that's a bad thing.
I think it needs to be local communities.
Let's say if someone want to do like hard drugs to get addicted, and they do the drugs to a point that they don't want to work. Do we have to take care of those individuals?
No, I would say absolutely not.
I agree with that because. Like if you're not,
you have to understand, I'm not a communist or a socialist. I believe that different parts of the ideas can work well together. We just have to find a way to implement them right.
I identify as a Christian nationalist, by the way.
Hey, I'm a Christian nationalist too. Not gonna
Do it
lie,
up.
bro.
Do it up.
I think we need to have the responsibility go to the local communities. They need to take care of their own people. We can't be just offloading the responsibility to an analogous entity called the government and let them take care of it because they always F it up every single time.
Yeah, and
they don't give a crap.
The reason I come on these lives and talk about this is to get new ideas. Like I'm not like hard founded in my ideas. Like I think that's a great idea. Put it more on a state level because again, every state is different. I don't agree that we have to tear down our system and rebuild a new one. It's a fairly good system. We just need to tweak it. It's not
honestly. We need to just start following our original system and follow the Constitution and get rid of the Federal Reserve because that's the main problem.
Yeah, man,
absolutely. I 100% agree.
Change in our government, man. There was a big change in our government ever since World War II ended. Everything changed, and they changed a bunch of stuff.
Well, and
it's never been the same.
Did we lose all the capitalists in the chat? Did we lose all the capitalists? I mean, the communists or the commies?
I guess.
They always
I guess so.
they get upset when a real capitalist starts asking them to define the labor theory of value because when they answer the question, then you can see how stupid their ideology actually is.
What is the labor theory of value? Go ahead, explain that.
Any amount of labor is equal to any other amount of labor, so it doesn't matter about the skill level or the quality of the labor.
No, to
it's
be
all
honest,
worth
a
the
lot
exact same,
I
which is ridiculous.
A lot of them say that that's not true. Bro, that's the thing about communism.
I can give you an example of why it's not true.
No, I had arguments with these people. Some of them say they don't believe because like there's no one form of communism that they all agree on. Everyone have their own twist on it. So that's why like let's say like a majority of people agree on like 5 out of the 10 things. There's still like a lot of things that they don't agree on. They don't like some people agree on private ownership, some people don't agree on private ownership. Even though in the whole like the basis of it says people can't own private property. Like I couldn't own a farm, have 1,000 acres, and use that farm to produce income. Because even if I produce that income all by myself, that farm should belong to the community or something because it's producing income. And I'm like, yo. So I buy this land. I put all the risk and investment into it. I started up and I can't own it. Even if I want to hire 3 people to work it and I start this thing from scratch, these people, these people automatically get a portion of it just because I hired them. That don't make no
Well,
sense.
the problem is somebody should have already owned that fucking land, bro. You go to Europe, all that land has been owned for thousands of fucking years. It keeps getting passed down through different generations and different fucking families until the fucking capitalists came and fucking bought it all up and just bastardized.
Not in the UK anymore
thousands of
because he
years of
passed an
fucking
inheritance tax.
God almighty. They even tax you for your fucking family being dead. I mean, it's fucking crazy. They would charge us for the air we fucking breathe if they could. I
They're
swear to
trying.
it.
What do you think the carbon tax is?
You believe in carbon taxes?
Right. Thank you.
No.
The carbon tax is literally a tax on your breathing.
Yeah. No, I don't believe in it.
As well as the income tax.
I got a question. What's our political leaning, to the left or to the right?
Far
Centrist,
right.
third position is all the way
Complete right.
centrist.
Free markets. No government involvement or intrusion in the free market.
Yeah,
that's not right. That's not far right. That's far left.
Apparently it is. Apparently that's far right, being a free market capitalist.
Go third position, bro. Don't go left or right. Take the third position. Go centrist. That's what I do.
I want the Javier Milei model in Argentina. I want 6%.
Just hate everyone equally.
Exactly, bro. Just hate everyone.
Oh my goodness, y'all being ridiculous now. Hate everyone equally. Like, I feel like, hey yo, I'm on the right. I'm not far right because some of that stuff gets a little crazy, and like the stuff that makes the most sense is like being more to the right, but still taking ideas and things that work from the left. Like, I'm not saying everyone on the left is wrong with ideas. There's some stuff that come up with like, okay, that makes sense, but some stuff you're like, whoa.
Well, you gotta think though. Look at the far right. Look at the far right.
That was a joke. That was a joke.
The radical left and the radical right. What do you see from the radical right? What do you think they want? They want families. They want fucking ethnically pure fucking countries, national fucking countries. Not to say that they want to get rid of all the fucking black people. They just don't want a bunch of fucking other people from other countries coming in. And when you look at the radical left, they want the exact opposite. They want to destroy everything that our forefathers fought for and the principles that this country was built upon. Not only that, but Christian principles as well. And they really just want to get rid of religion as a whole, while the radical left wants to do the exact opposite. And it's becoming more and more and more polarized every single fucking decade, to the point where we're on the brink of civil fucking war. It's pretty crazy, dog.
Yeah, it's bad.
Hey, Birdie, what's your
And
opinion
there's the thing
about
too.
this?
Like,
Wait,
I don't
stop.
think it's a bad.
Wait, stop. Birdie, what are you? You a commie? You a red?
I consider myself a progressive.
A progressive.
So like Bernie Sanders.
I thought Bernie Sanders was a democratic socialist.
Bernie Sanders is an idiot.
Okay.
So what's your views on this thing? Let's just hear your views on this thing.
Well, one thing real quick. Can Son repeat the last part of what he just said? He said the far right wants what?
Okay, I know what you're talking.
They don't want.
I know what she's fucking talking about. She's talking about where I said ethnically pure fucking country. There's nothing wrong with this, okay? If you went to Korea and you wanted to see Korean culture and Korean buildings, but you went over there and all you saw were Muslim people and fucking mosques, and you saw that the Korean culture was gone because it's a very small peninsula. And it could very easily be taken away from them. It's very small. It's like the size of Florida. So they could easily be overrun by a foreign culture. It's possible. And you would probably become upset over that if Korean culture was just fucking lost in 100 years. And that's kind of what's happening to European people and Westerners as well. But they just kind of get a lot of backlash for it because it seems like white supremacy whenever they try to say something about it. You know what I'm saying?
So what about America? You want to get rid of multiculturalism in America?
No, not at all. I think America is...
Wait. What you mean by multiculturalism?
No.
What he's saying, right? A country like America.
Multiculturalism is okay as long as it works cohesively in society. But when it starts causing problems like it's been doing, because you can't lie, the multiculturalism has caused problems. There's a culture war. It's literally what in the name, the culture war.
When immigrants go to a country, they're expected to assimilate to that country. I don't think that's a problem.
And not by force either, not by any fucking malicious means.
I got a question for Bernie. You think if someone from a Muslim country coming here, they should and they want to establish Sharia law, that's a good thing?
Absolutely not. No, this country was founded on Christian principles. While the church was separated from the state, I think that these Christian principles
Son
should
of the
still
West,
apply.
we gotta let
today.
Birdie talk. We gotta let Birdie talk. Like
Well, I thought she was asking me, bro.
Oh, my bad. We talking Birdie.
What person? Who's asking for Sharia law in America?
Don't like in New York they got like Sharia patrols and stuff like that where they have like
And they are actually doing it in the UK.
They have like similar.
They
They have like vehicles
Can
similar
we
to
stick with America?
Yeah, and like in New York, they have like these people walking around trying to be like Sharia officers and stuff like that, where they say like people that are like they I think are Muslim or believed to be Muslim, they try to like say, hey yo, what are you doing, stuff like that. I believe in like Michigan too, they have like stuff. They have people trying to establish certain things like that into their into that state.
They're literally trying to get past Sharia courts in the UK that would be able to enforce Sharia law upon.
This is America. We don't care about no daggone UK.
Yeah.
No offense.
Can we stick?
No, dude. I'm telling you, it's important. They're very important. The UK and Europe is very important to us.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No,
they
they're
really
not.
are.
We do not need We do not need any of Europe. We got the
Okay, we have
Atlantic Ocean.
2,000
We got the Pacific Ocean and 11 aircraft carriers.
White man to black man, white man to fucking black man. You're not going to see me eye to eye on this because you're black and I'm white, okay?
Wait,
the 2,000 years of Western civilization, bro.
With that.
2,000 years. You're not Western.
Son, it has nothing to do with that.
Go ahead, say your point. Whoever's ever saying something about the white
Listen,
man,
bro,
black man.
2,000 years of Western civilization, okay? Europeans did a lot of fucking stuff historically, and it's kind of all being robbed from them. And I get it, you don't understand that because you're not European ethnically, so you're not going to care as much about Europe as I would, me being a white man. I understand that. I wouldn't expect you.
What country do you live in, America?
I live in America, yes.
So you're American, right?
Europe is very important to us geopolitically. I'm telling you, dude. Because
of their banking system. Nothing else.
They're only other Westerners. The only other Westerners besides Australia. That's Western culture.
I could care less about that.
Without them, it's an Islamic fucking state. I'm telling you, dude. Islam is taking
that might be you. I could care
entire
less. I care about their banking system and their financing to help with our.
What about their culture?
I feel like America's economy have enough.
They gave that up, dude.
Yo, I feel like
they
America's
gave that up
economy.
when they brought in millions of people.
Hey, yo, Pete, this America's economy. If we stop sending out jobs to overseas and everybody out, we have enough resources and stuff like that to take care of ourselves without needing to be reliant on other countries. That's what I personally believe.
Nope, we got Trump and they're trying to.
But hey, I want to hear
separate us from Europe.
Birdie and Fatty's opinions about some of these stuff because I already know like most of the other people's opinions. This is T.
I don't know.
Can I go first?
Go
ahead.
Okay, guys. I finally got my mic working now.
What's up? Hey.
The other night. All right. So this is my official first time. And I totally agree that the socialism, communism never works. Because I came from a communist country.
What country are you from?
You guess. Your
Привет,
guess.
Fuskier хорошо?
Huh?
Привет, Fuskier хорошо?
No.
Okay, damn. Frequency Deutsch?
Czechoslovakia?
Nope.
Hola?
Nah.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me the country. I ran out of guesses. It's gonna just start getting racist if I keep doing this.
All right. So no. I have lived in the black community all the time, so I feel I'm Chinese.
Xinxian. Wait, no, that's not it. Go ahead, man. Let me stop.
It's okay. So they always call me Black Chinese lady. Why are you laughing?
Nothing. I didn't say nothing.
So what do you think about African? What do you think about African and American culture mixing with Chinese culture?
Okay, so first of all, let me tell you, because the other night, I could not get on. So let me tell you, all the time, socialism, communism come to every country in the name of progressive. I know the girl, she says she's a progressive, right? But that's how they always started.
Yo, just so you know, the communists, socialists, and stuff like that, they don't consider themselves the same as leftists, liberals, and progressive. I know it's like all on the left, but apparently they don't like each. They might work together, but they don't really like each other.
That's how. Okay, so after I came here, I spoke to a lot of people from the Soviet Union. You know, they're my friends, Cuban, right? They come from Venezuela, Vietnam, North Korean, or Albanian, you name it. And we all have the same conclusion that America, the US, is on the way to socialism or communism. They are the same animal, just different name. They are fooling you, okay? They say, oh, it's different. They are exactly same. Or even progressive. They are exactly same thing.
Hey, Brady, as a progressive, what's your opinions about this?
Progressive?
Yeah, Brady's. You're
progressive. I'm just listening. I would like to know what she's trying to say.
All right, go ahead. Continue that on, Fatty. I'm gonna say.
Okay, so I don't know how many.
Weird saying Fatty. Go ahead.
So, give me a couple of minutes. Let me explain to you. Okay. You know, I don't know about. I don't know how many of you know about Mao.
The Great Leap Forward.
You know,
how he killed all the sparrows and then caused a famine.
He was the dictator for China for a long time, right? So he started all the revolution, they call it revolution in China, in the name of progressive. And then he turned the whole China upside down. And his propaganda was like, okay, we're going to give you equal share of land, housing, food, everything. Equality. Sounds familiar now? That's Democrat is promoting.
I would say to a certain extent. I believe everybody should be treated as equal, but I don't believe you're entitled to someone else's labor. Like if it costs someone else's time and labor to make a house, you shouldn't get a free house because someone had to work to make that house. So why should you get one for free?
Well, isn't the system we live under right now having people benefit from other people's labors?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. This country is on the way to communism.
I don't think we are because us and the counter-revolutionary, anti-communist, anti-socialism people, we're like trying to we won't let that happen.
Isn't a lot of anti-revolutionary people just trying to prevent the future or
how much power do you think we have? Like how much power do you think the fucking people have to do anything about their fucking government?
Hey, yo, I'm just putting like this. A whole bunch of farmers was fighting off the British. I'm just gonna put it like that.
They were fighting for a better thing. This is 2020.
It's happening today.
Anybody heard of Bundy Ranch?
No.
Oh, I think I know you're talking about where they were fighting.
Yeah, a bunch of farmers basically told the federal government to go F themselves, and the federal government had no choice but to do so.
Usually revolutions only happen when the system that they're living under is horrible, and why would you want to put down a revolution when there's people actively speaking out against a bad system?
Have you been to New York?
Yes, I've been to New York. I know it's pretty shit, honestly.
A pack of cigarettes is $22 a pack now.
Yeah.
Yep, New York.
Yeah, people are addicted to it, and they'll pay for it. And
you have to pay a tax for congestion on the highway.
Even Trump wants to stop
get rid of
The
that.
system we live under right now, that's not communist. That's
That's a state tax.
That's pure
That's the
capitalism.
governor's state tax. No, that's not capitalism. If it's a tax on
If it's happening in
the
America right now,
government.
tell me how it's not capitalist when America is a capitalist country.
Because capitalism does not have the government intruding within
But
the
it
market.
does. Capitalism is
No, it doesn't.
intertwined with America.
Stop. Define what you mean by capitalism, because when you,
Capitalism is the system we live under, where everything needs to have a profitable like margin, and if you're doing something, you want to make money from it, and that leads to exploitation that we are living under right now.
I got a
And
question.
socialism is
You trying to say
actively
capitalism
trying to get rid of it.
You trying to say capitalism is supposed to like maximize like profit and stuff like that?
Yes, and capitalism relies on infinite growth in a finite amount of resources.
Exactly. There's no infinite growth. There is a stopping point.
It believes in infinite growth when there is no such thing as infinite growth because everything has a limit.
Do capitalism wait, do capitalism also have increased production?
Yeah, I'm not saying capitalism is bad. I'm just saying that it needs to be controlled and limited. Like capitalism has served a purpose, and I'm not saying that it hasn't worked entirely.
They've been doing that for decades, and that's why the 2008 market crash happened. That's why the future market crash is going to
Capitalism
happen.
actively dies
Like,
out.
why is the Fed creating a new window to bail out all these hedge funds?
They're talking over each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying not to.
Can I talk for a minute?
Go ahead.
What?
Okay, so I saw one guy says, "Oh, China and everything doing good, right?" Let me tell you, China, it was doing good for past 30, 40 years because its politics has been communist, right? But the economy is capitalism. That's why China was booming for the past 30 years.
Socialism should not be like put as like a I don't know what the word for it is. The only way to run a government. It needs to be like intertwined with capitalism because there are some ideas of capitalism that serve a purpose, but it's the lack of control and the amount of control that capitalism has over the government that makes it into a problem because that allows people to have power.
Is America's form of capitalism and government not the best?
No, I don't think
What's the problem with America's form of capitalism?
America's form of capitalism that it allows companies to basically gain more money than most countries. There are billionaires that are worth more countries from America, and America actively pushes against funding healthcare, education, all that stuff, and that is proven. And they want to push more money towards military because they need a strong military to fear people. People are scared to start a revolution because of how strong the military is. They're using money to fund military projects, and also people are able to lobby politicians to get laws passed to benefit them, specifically the company, not the workers. Right?
And it all comes down to the leprechauns, to cabal. I'm telling you.
So do you think people shouldn't be able to own a mega corporation or something like that?
I think that mega corporations are impossible to get rid of because too many people rely on them, but the fact that people are able to buy control of that or just have control of it because they started it is reminiscent of monarchism, where they have control of millions of people that work for them. You need to have a house, i.e. land, to work for that company, and I just don't think that works. I think more of a democratic version of running a mega corporation to ensure that the people who get all the money from that company are spending that money to benefit the people that are working for them.
Okay.
How are you going to do that?
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
By what mechanism are you going to have that happen?
So you don't believe it? You're not a commie, are you? You're not one of the Reds, are you?
I don't think communism itself. Communism is an extremist idea of socialism. It is an adaptation of it. Just how there are like many like different branches of religion and stuff like as a core idea, but the way that is executed is flawed. But the idea of socialism and how everyone's equal and they should all get equal materials and stuff, that is undeniably a good thing. But the way that communism does it is more forceful because it develops in poor, weak countries with social instability, which is why I think capitalism itself sets up the gateway to create a strong society so it can transfer over to socialism.
So you don't think a country with based on capitalism, but with social programs and stuff to help out people, stuff to help out the community, for people that can't do stuff on their own, is not the best form? We're at the basis of it is capitalism, where production is like gonna be at the one of the main focus. Because if we stop focusing on production, and we're not gonna be able to produce enough food or produce enough stuff for everybody else.
We already produce enough food. We have enough
because
to
we're
solve world
focused on
hunger.
production. If we stop
We
focusing
are.
on production and
We're
start,
not. We don't focus enough on distribution. We don't focus enough on where we distribute it to. We distribute it to the highest bidder, not the people who need the most.
what you mean we distribute food to the highest bidder?
That's the mechanism where we get it to the person who needs it the most
People-
because they're willing to pay the most.
Yeah, we only give the
That's
things. to
exactly
people who
how
have the
you
money, not the
distribute it in
demands.
a capitalist economy.
America has an idea of supply and demand, even though we have the supply and the demand, but they only give it to the people who want it, not
We have
need
the
it.
supply, but we don't control it. It's a problem. We have the supply, but we don't control the supply.
People, billionaires have enough money to solve world hunger easily and have the ability to fund like the technology and the labor to solve it, but they actively do not because that is not profitable to them and they do not make anything out of that. People are
You don't blame
capitalism
you don't
allows
blame like
infinite greed.
NGOs and stuff like that. Just trying to say, hey yo, we're gonna collect money to feed these people instead. We're gonna collect money to help these people learn how to produce agriculture on their own.
Yeah, people should. I think people need to. Wait, can you repeat that?
You don't think
Kinda
you
like-
think the issue? You don't think the problem is that we have programs and NGOs and like not even NGOs, just organizations that say focus on, hey yo, give us money so we can feed these people instead of give us money and we'll teach these people to be self-reliant, independent. Or
I think it's a
or
problem
tell someone that lives in a desert area that has low ability to produce agriculture and food to like, you shouldn't live there because the amount of resources you have is just not enough.
Well, do they have the resources to move though? That's the thing. I think the problem is that we have private companies trying to solve that when even though private companies rely on private donations when they're not given the ability to actually like solve the problem. And yes, it is a problem with people not wanting to move because they either have an attachment to that land or just cannot afford to move or have nowhere to move. And there are some areas that we don't have the responsibility to solve them, but we have the ability to. But we should, so we should. And I'm not saying I personally have the solution to that. I think it's more of a complex issue that not one person can solve. But I'm saying that the idea that people think that's impossible completely makes people not want to even think of trying to do it when it is possible.
Exactly, man. Like a great man once said, a society can only be built upon a social basis.
Humans themselves evolved because we have the ability to help each other. And we have completely forgotten that. So now we're back to
without any
the richest
cohesive
survive.
society. It's just a mob of people. It's like Alexander the Great said, bro. I don't fucking know. I'm high.
The problem with this country right now is that people don't understand what capitalism is supposed to be. They think that the government needs to control the market. It needs to have its hand and pick the winners and losers in order to protect the people. And that's exactly the opposite of what happens. The reason why you have these mega corporations is because they get these regulations passed to where they're the only ones who can pay the lawyer teams to keep them legal and get them the subsidies and tax breaks that the other smaller companies can't. Every time that Walmart sees the government passing some new regulation, they start jumping for joy and glee because they know all their smaller competitors can't compete with them.
Exactly. This monopolistic society fucking culture shit has got to end, dude. It's horrible. Like,
So get the government out of it. Let
it's not the government, it's the
companies
cabal. Dude, you don't know how to
It's not the
differentiate
cabal.
between-
It's not the cabal. It's the fact that our government is run by a bunch of self-interested assholes.
Yeah,
who
I think we
figured
both know
out
what we're talking about,
exactly
buddy.
how the system works.
I think
to
we
where
both
they
know
can
what we're talking
lobby. Can you stop interrupting?
Bro, I'm just trying to make sure we're on the same page. We're talking
We have
about
lobbyists. We have giant corporations, and they figured out. that
Okay,
all
do you
they've got-
understand that these lobbyists
Okay, just keep talking.
are all bro? I haven't spoken for bro. I'm gonna say
No,
one
you've
more
been
thing.
speaking.
I'll say one more thing and I'll shut up. Okay. Look, these lobbyists. If you go and you look at their ethnic background, you'll notice a